Okay. Good evening, everybody. The date is January 20th, 2026, and the time is 7:11. I hereby call to order the meeting of the City Council of the City of Groveland, Florida. The pledge tonight will be led by Vice Mayor Gaines and invocation by Pastor Nelson Bloom of the Better Life Worship Church. And so let's remain standing for his invocation.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts lifting up the city of Groveland. We thank you for the beauty of our lakes, the strength of the history of Groveland, the bright future of this growing community. Lord, we ask for the participation of all the citizens of this city to come together. We pray, Lord, for your divine wisdom to rest upon our city leaders. Grant them discernment and a spirit of service. We pray, Lord, right now for every neighborhood and every household that Groveland would be a place of peace, safety, and neighborly love. May your grace be the foundation on which we stand and that we build on. May your blessings overflow into every business, every school, and every home. Let us not just grow in numbers, but let us grow in unity and in kindness. We ask all this in the almighty name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Pastor Bloom, don't leave, please. Pastor Bloom. I'd like to make a request, Pastor Bloom, that you get with Mr. Hine and work out when you can come on the agenda and let the public know about your Latin festival, that you're moving from Claremont to Groveland, Florida, so that everybody can understand when it is, how it's going. So could you all get together?
Okay. Now?
Not right now. Okay. I just didn't want, because you said you were leaving.
I was ready to say, I can do this now.
You said you were leaving, so.
Okay, I'll definitely get together.
Set it up with Mike, please.
Okay, I sure will. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Mayor Keith Kehoe.
Here.
Vice Mayor Barbara Gaines.
Here.
Councilmember Amy Jo Carroll.
Here.
Councilmember Michael J. Cox.
Here.
Councilmember Stephen Shulkowski.
Here.
City Manager Mike Hine.
Here.
City Attorney Anita Gerasi Carver. Sergeant at Arms Chief Sean Ramsey. City Clerk Virginia Wright here.
Okay, we have a quorum, guest speakers, presentations. We have update on the Groveland, really the announcement on the Groveland Award Gala by Mitchell Hill, Committee Chairman. Is Mitchell Hill here?
Yes, sir.
Step up, young man.
Good evening. Honorable Mayor and members of Groveland Council. On behalf of the Groveland Gala Executive Committee, I would like to sincerely thank the Mayor and the Council for confidence placed in me through my appointment as Chairman of this important community initiative. I am honored to serve and to help guide the planning and execution of an event that reflects the values and vision of the city of Groveland. I'd also like to express heartfelt appreciation to all committee members and volunteers who have committed their time and expertise to this effort. Your willingness to serve is essential to the success of the Groveland Gala. The gala will be held at the National Community Gymnasium, Hope International Campus. And to date, the committee has held 3 official meetings at our meeting place located at 889 East Anderson Road in Groveland. While the membership continues to grow, it is not yet at the strength required to support an event of this scale. As a result, we are actively seeking additional committee members and volunteers to assist with this planning and implementation. We welcome volunteers this evening. The event is a part of a larger fundraising effort to expand the Groveland Center, the neighborhood center, outreach and strengthen services they offer. The gala will also honor outstanding individuals and partners who have made a meaningful impact in Groveland and the surrounding areas. Guests can expect an evening of music, awards, fine dining, and celebration, making it an event unlike anything previously seen in Lake County. Now, at our meeting 2 weeks ago, the committee received the plan of action from the chairman, and during discussion on the current project timeline, recognized that we were approximately 6 months behind schedule. Short of volunteers, several major competing activities around the same time, and would definitely affect our sponsorship. Now, based on this assessment, a motion was made to request additional time to properly plan this event. We are grateful to the mayor and council members for approving this request. As a result, the new date for the Groveland Gala has been set for October 10th, 2026. Action and appointment made. During the most recent meeting, the following appointments and actions were approved. Secretary Vicky, Finance Chair Justin, Christina, Venue Support, Beth, Event Experience and Branding, and Jen, Marketing. And Mitchell, Chairman, Entertainment, Atmosphere and Logistic. Renters and rentals. The committee is currently in discussion with Tabletop Catering regarding catering services for the event. We're also in discussion with Claimant Rentals and awaiting a formal quote. A quote has been received from Galaxy Party Rentals for chairs and tabletops. Sponsorship structure and revenue planning. The proposed sponsorship structure includes the following tier. Tier 1, presenting sponsor. Tier 2, platinum sponsor. Tier 3, gold sponsors. Tier 4, silver sponsors. And Tier 5, bronze sponsor. Ticketing and registration. The committee is considering Eventbrite as the official booking and ticketing platform. The following recommendation from Joe. The executive committee will further review this option. The proposed ticket pricing structures as follows. Couples, $300, fairly inexpensive. Individuals, $175, and young professionals, $150. Marketing, branding, and sponsorship materials. The sponsorship packaging is nearly completion, and nearly. Logos are currently being developed for marketing and promotional use. Jen has offered to create an image-based website and event program to support marketing efforts. Awards and recognition. The committee agreed that awards presented at the gala will be based on the following core values: heart, vitality, intentionality, knowledge, and connectivity. You remember these are some of the core values that our mayor emphasized during his campaign. The committee will seek to involve local artists, and use local materials in designing the awards plaque. Administrative and financial structure. Official correspondences and sponsorship outreach will be conducted using the Neighborhood Center letterhead in partnership with the City of Groveland, and will include signatures from Trish and the Mayor. A dedicated bank account will be established for the event through the Neighborhood Center 501c3, ensuring proper financial oversight and compliance. Event coordination. Branding and marketing. Beth will engage in discussion with Maritza, Mars Events, regarding full event coordination services with projected costs running $5,000 to $10,000. Again, this was before the date was postponed or change of date. The committee will seek to have photographers, and we have 3 names that we're seeking to work with. In closing, the Executive Committee appreciates the continued support and guidance of the Mayor and the City Council. While there is still work ahead, meaningful progress has been made, and the committee remains committed to delivering a successful and impacting gala in Groveland. Mr. Mayor and council members, Flight 101026, with 500 guests, will land at the Hope International, and this will be 500 guests at 6 p.m. on 10-10-26. Submitted with pride, Mitchell Hill, Shaban.
Thank you, Mitchell. Can we have the committee, do we have anybody take pictures of the council and the committee? Can we have the committee come forward? Do we have somebody that can take a picture? While they're coming forward, I'd like to ask Trish and Beth to stand up, please, because you got to stand up to come forward anyway. But these 2 young ladies are in charge of the neighborhood center, and they do a tremendous job for our community as far as feeding the hungry. I said Trish, yeah. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that they've outgrown, because of the economic situation in our area, they have totally outgrown the facility they have now. And this is to get a new facility out by the current fire station. And the city has donated that land to these individuals. But the fundraiser is starting now, the capital campaign. And I would invite both of you to come back with the pictures and all that when you have a chance, so we can show the council what that's all about, okay? And then, so come on forward so we can take a picture. And then I don't want to take credit for this. My name came up several times during that, but Mike Hine brought this to me, and it was really talked years ago, right? I mean, it was something that was brought up years ago about this community services award kind of thing. So I appreciate that. And then lastly, the core values are in the strategic plan. They're not part of my campaign. They're part of the city's strategic plan and are the core values of the city. So thank you. Let's move.
Thank you for the correction, Mr. Mayor. Please, members of the committee.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Then 1. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's freezing in here. I was drinking water, but it froze, so now it's just ice.
All right, thank you so much for that detail. And we have very extensive minutes from those meetings, so we send the city manager if you all would like to see them so you understand the progress. And you're welcome to come to the meetings at our new office, thanks to Ms. Gaines, at the new building every Tuesday at 4:30. Write it down, 4:30. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Jenny, will you please read the consent agenda into the record?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we have one more presentation on the agenda.
Before they get there?
Yeah, engagement, community
Engagement, oh, it's just the most important thing that's happened to the city in the last 100 years. I would like to ask for the presentation, and this is dynamic. This is something that really lets our citizens tell us what they want rather than vice versa. It's the introduction of the Resident Engagement Program. Take it away.
Thank you, Mayor. It's very loud. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Thanks for having us tonight. Back in December, in your workshop, we presented you a concept to use community surveys to enhance resident engagement in Groveland. And since that time, we've made a lot of progress, so we want to share with you an update where we are and kind of what the next steps are. We've kind of divided tonight into two areas, and you'll see those, planning and promotion. And the first part of this is just, we're going to walk you through just these 4 big buckets of a plan and answer these questions as we go. Here we go. So the outcomes, this is where we always want to start with our plans because we want to understand what we're trying to achieve and then back up and see, what we can do to get there. And these are not any different from the ones that we presented to you at your workshop, but I thought it was worth putting them back up here and just highlighting a couple of these for members of the audience who were not part of that workshop. So the first outcome that we're hoping to accomplish with this is to hear voices we're not currently hearing. I think we can all agree that we are not hearing from people. There's not that many people that come to these meetings. I know that's a big disappointment to everybody here because there's a lot of city business that gets taken care of here. And we really want, all of us want more residents that are engaged in the business of the city. Trust through transparency is a really important thing, and what I love about this program that we're walking through tonight is that it has a tremendous amount of transparency, and I do think that that's going to go to continuing to build trust for the city of Groveland with our residents. And then at last, we don't want to just ask questions just to ask questions. We want to make sure that we're asking questions that could help us shape our future decisions, right? And so they may be on small topics, they may be on larger topics, but they're all going to be important topics to someone in our community. And so those are the outcomes that we expect to get out of this program. Moving on to objectives. Our first objective, now all the objectives are of course measurable. There's a lot of other things that we could have put up on here, but these are the most important things that I think if we reach all of these, we'll be doing, we'll be delivering what we're telling you we're going to deliver. So we want to secure at least 200 participants representing all 4 districts. And so the important thing here is the at least. And so 200 is the minimum we would need to move forward with deploying our first survey, but our expectation and our hope is that we're going to get many hundreds more as we go. And I think that as the first survey goes out and we get results back from them, we'll promote those survey results and we'll tell people out there, hey, you need to be part of this program because look what your neighbors and your friends and family told us that how they felt about this particular topic. We think that reinforcement is going to go a long way to having some additional folks sign up. We do plan to deploy 4 surveys this year. It could go higher than that, but right now we are at 4. And we want to achieve a minimum of 20% survey participation rate. Now that's important because let's say we have 600 people that are signed up on our panel. It doesn't mean all 600 are going to complete every single survey. They may be out of town. They may not care about the particular topic. So it's going to fluctuate, but we are setting a goal for ourselves of having a 20% survey participation rate across the board. The audience is pretty simple. People who actually live in Groveland. You know, one of the things that we talked about before that I sent you all an email, but I want to resurface it. One of your questions back to us was, how can we get some additional demographic information about the folks that are on our survey panel so that we can filter and make sure that we are understanding how people are answering who have been living in Groveland for 50 years versus people who have just moved in the last 5. We know we're going to see some differentiation between those types of people. And so we will be able to ask that question. We will also be able to ask the question about race and ethnicity. The other few things that I'd like to ask in addition to those are, I want to find out how many families are participating. I want to know, how many people have children under 18 living in the household. And then finally, I'd also like to understand, there's an automatic age differentiator. They ask the age in the enrollment form, but the ages are only broken out into 45 to 55 and then 55 plus. Well, I'd like to know what 30 and under is thinking on any of these issues and how where that gap is. So I want to ask a little bit more about ages so that we can have a real robust picture of who's answering and how they're answering. So on the strategies, let's move on to that. I've got 5 of them. The first one is really, goes to what are we going to ask, right? What do we want to know? And essentially the way that we're answering that is, what do we want to know that if we did would help us make better, more informed decisions? And so there's all kinds of different topics that we could talk about, and we're not going to identify them all right now. I fully believe that by the middle of this year, there will be something that is really weighing on our residents' minds and also on your minds. It could have to do with the economy. It could have to do with what was decided in the legislative season. There's all kinds of things that will kind of shift and allow us to be flexible with the next few. But the first 2, we're pretty comfortable in, with the first one going out being on community priorities, and the next one being on communications preferences. Now, I will tell you, there's no intent for any of us to put out a survey that is kind of a gotcha on any department, ours included. But we do, for us, we want to be selfish. I mean, we want to know how people are currently getting information from the city and how they want to get information from the city. As you can imagine, there are hundreds of ways we could communicate with them, but if there are 3 that are coming up consistently over and over, and there's a really high level of with the ratings, then those are the 3. Doesn't mean we wouldn't do everything or other things. It just means that we really want to nail it on those 3. And then the last one I threw in here, just because there may be an opportunity for us with the start of, State Road 50 realignment, we know people's attention are going to start to turn again back to downtown. And so there may be some opportunities for us to just ask some questions, some preliminary stuff about, what's important to you in a downtown? Is it safety? Is it walkability? Is it retail dining? Is it pocket parks? All kinds of things. So we would, there may be an opportunity that we want to put that out there. Have no idea of the timing, and we all may decide that isn't something we would even do this year. But anyway, those are 3, 2 pretty firm, 1 kind of potential for consideration, and then we're going to leave 1 blank because, like I said, I think things are going to change, and we're going to be more informed the further we get through the year. And then, of course, the second strategy is just encourage residents to participate. So I want to share with you that we have a whole host talking about, how do we reach people and all the ways we can reach people. We're going to start by having something on our website on the homepage above the fold so that you can see exactly what we're trying to do, and it encourages you immediately. So whether you're coming to the website on your own or you're getting moved to the website from another tool, you will be able to find that immediately. Where am I supposed to? We start with this promotion on our own channels. So these are the ones that we control. Everything from a social campaign. We typically do e-blasts and text prompts for a lot of the news that are going out. The mayor has kindly agreed to have one of the pieces in his next newsletter be about this campaign and about this program. We have facility signage that we will be putting up posters, back of the utility bill, of course, and then all the events that we're going to be taking place. We're already at all the Second Friday events, and Bridget has a little program where if somebody signs up in front of her, they will get a hat or other merchandise. So it's a nice little incentive for them to do that. We also want to focus on our earned channels, and that's not just earned news, it's also earned relationships. So that's HOAs, churches, the Historical Society. There's probably some others that I'm missing for tonight. And then, of course, paid channels. There's always advertising. We may not have to go to that, and I'd like to see what we do without having to pay for advertising, but if we need to, we're prepared to do that. Oh, all right, we got it. The third strategy is develop and deploy the surveys. Now, the last time that we met with you all in December, for technology reasons, we couldn't actually show you what these look like. So I wanted to go through just very, very briefly what you're going to see when all the survey results come back. Couple things here. We are definitely able to do these from all devices. It'll be in English and Spanish, whichever the person prefers. There's 5 very fast questions designed to be answered in 1 minute, and the results will be displayed to all within 48 hours. And I do think that's important for the audiences here, that anything that we can see from the results, everybody can see from the results. There's nothing that is hidden. Everybody gets it. And that's just that's the system that it's built on. And so that's exciting because we can also add filter, when we go and try to filter and slice and dice, so can anybody else that's on that site. So nothing to hide. They'll be able to see exactly how their neighbors and friends and they voted as well. So this is just a flash vote. This is what this will look like when we get the survey results. Now this is the city of Schertz, and they did a survey on their trash services. And it was because their contract was set to expire, and they said rather than just use the same old RFP, they actually wanted to poll their survey or their citizens to find out what are they satisfied? How satisfied are they with the service they're getting right now? And are there things that they're getting that they like and things that they're getting that they don't care about? And so that's what this survey was all about. And you can see all the different questions that they asked. They all kind of lead one into another, but they're all very, very, they're all multiple choice except for the very last one on all the surveys. And they're pretty easy to read, digest, and answer. I'm not going to take you through and read all of these questions, but anytime you want to see this, you certainly can. And then the 5th one is an open-ended question. So any other comments or suggestions about trash or recycling services in the city of Schertz? And so what this does is it's a word map so that people are saying the words that are displayed bigger. More people are saying those words. What I like is that we get the unfiltered responses. Now, again, all of this is anonymous. We do not have access to the database. We do not have access to the people who have signed up. We do not know. The only thing we know is the number of people and be able to filter out like who lives here and who doesn't. But everybody that signs up, everybody that leaves a comment, they don't have to worry about that comment making its way and their name making its way back to us. That's just not possible with this. So 4th strategy is gaining insight through data, and I just walked through all of these, the insights that the city of Schertz gleaned from their trash services one. And the last one was really early warning signs, right? Maybe there's something that bubbles up in that open-ended question that nobody even knew about. So we would have the opportunity to kind of at least have a little bit of an early warning sign for some of these issues. And then track decisions against actions. And so the way we see this happening is that after every survey, we come before you we'd give you the results, we'd work through the results, and we'd talk about some insights, and we'd, facilitate a conversation among all of you. And then the public can weigh in as well, should they want to. At that point, we will also have met with the affected department heads and found out, gathered their ideas and information about the certain topics and what they could and couldn't do. So when we have that, it'll be a robust conversation, and then we will be able to, should you decide to make any decisions based on those insights, we can track those and make sure that, we're tracking them all the way through for however long it takes to get done. Yes. So next steps, our survey promotion will begin rolling out this Friday. You won't see everything everywhere, but you will start to see a social campaign that'll we're going to start launching on Friday for the weekend, and then into next week you'll start to see it in a number of other places. And once we hit 200 plus, we are ready for the first survey on community priorities. And happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Questions? No question? Could I ask, this is not a new thing. And Mr. Hine, you brought this. Could you just talk a little bit about Bowling Green and what this did for their city? And because it was a very stimulating presentation that other cities have benefited from this.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, there was a feature on the community in Bowling Green where a county commissioner at the time was discouraged by low participation at community meetings, so they partnered with a tech company to do some live surveying and constant surveying, so people who could work, couldn't come to meetings, could participate at any time, any place, and get feedback. And they saw a tremendous rise in community engagement, but also representation from underserved populations. And it was the data gleaned from it informed the policy decisions, and then they held themselves accountable by reporting back, as Lori mentioned, the decisions based on the data and the feedback.
Thank you. I think we're good on the questions. I think one thing that we as council should remember, we can take this to our huddles and kind of quantify some of the results and discuss them at each one of our huddles. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Welcome. Thank you. Good night.
it. Next up, consent agenda. Jenny, will you please read the consent agenda?
Yes. Consideration of approval amended November 20th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes, December 15th, 2025 City Council workshop minutes, December 15th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes, Resolution 2026-5 approving the Community Aesthetic Feature Agreement between the State of Florida Department of Transportation and City of Groveland.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I move to accept the consent agenda.
You need to ask if anyone needs to remove anything first.
Does anybody want to remove anything from the consent agenda? Okay, thank you.
She was just testing.
Thank you. Okay. Any public want to remove anything from the consent agenda? Okay, thank you.
I'll second Stephen's
Thank you so
motion then.
much for that, and let's move on to a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a second? Seeing no further discussion and no public input, we have, go ahead and let's take the roll.
Councilmember Slukowski, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Jay Cox?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gaines?
Aye.
Mayor Kehoe?
Okay, on to old business. We have item 1, consideration of approval. Mr. Hine, did you have something to say on that?
Yeah, no,
Consideration
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, if Ginny
Jenny need to
wants
read it.
to read the resolution into the record. And then
Read the title. Consideration of approval, Resolution 2026-2, approving the renewal of Florida Department of Transportation Highway Maintenance Memorandum of Agreement, contract number ASU 57, between the Florida Department of Transportation and the City of Groveland for the maintenance of State Road 50 rights-of-way by the city for a period of 3 years, accepting $26,775 annually as payment, authorizing the mayor to execute the contract renewal.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this item was continued from the previous meeting. Mr. Fish is here and available to answer any questions you may have. But again, this is the contribution from FDOT towards our efforts to maintain the right-of-way along State Route 50. As discussed at the previous meeting years ago, there was, and in most instances, the state subs this work out or hires contractors through competitive bidding process and contracts to maintain the right-of-way. The community, mayor and council at the time decided that that was not meeting the standard that the community desired and asked us to take over that responsibility. So we did originally as a subcontractor to the contractor, one of the first municipalities to ever do that. This is the agreement that was negotiated. I know the question has been asked, how negotiable is the price? And again, they use formulas to determine it. And Mr. Fish is in the audience to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, Mr. Fish, you want to come on up?
Yes, sir.
It was continued from last. Are you familiar with all the items that we asked for at the last meeting to continue this, this particular resolution?
I may not be fully aware of every item, but I understand the gist.
Okay. Well, can you tell us, can you update us on if we have achieved any of the renegotiations or any more of the information on this?
Thus far, since I was made aware of the tabling, and I apologize I was not able to be at that meeting, I've been attempting to work my way up the chain with the Florida Department of Transportation. This is one of those areas of DOT, not the people I normally deal with. Exactly as Mr. Hine described, it is very formula-based. They've got allocation. And normally Oasis, who happen to be the contractor for this area, has multiple. And you can see it for yourselves as we discussed. State Road 19, State Road 33, US 27, all maintained by Oasis at a whole different level of lower level of service than Groveland. So the amounts, basically, if you'll see the agreement, it was just the same 3-year agreement with the same amounts presented back to Groveland. When I inquired, our costs have gone up, can that be incorporated into the agreement? They didn't have the ability to even answer my question effectively other than, no, I don't think so. So I would offer, I will continue to work with DOT. I do urge you to go ahead and consider adopting the resolution, getting it to where the agreement can be extended. We still have the month of February before it expires. I'll continue to work my way up the chain and be able to make our case that what we are doing is for a reason. It was substandard, and for those of you not aware, part of the reason 50 got so much attention several years ago is that the trash tipping station for all the trash trucks in South Lake happens to go through at Sampy Road. So we have a disproportionate, not that 19 looks great, because Oasis does not do a great job, but we have a disproportionate amount of trash that ends up on our highways here, into our stormwater systems and so forth. So the fact the city even took those steps, originally we were a sub to Oasis, and then we got with DOT and got this better agreement. So at this time, I would urge go ahead and take the action tonight, and I'd like to be able to come back hopefully with some improved news, but that may take a little time, and candidly, I'm not going to let them know that this agreement's approved yet. I'm just going to hold that. If you choose to take that action, I'll continue to work with DOT and see if we can get a better deal.
Thank you. Questions? Right, let's start out. Go ahead.
So it breaks down to about $2,231 a month. Do you know what our costs are for the maintenance?
We've got a couple of maintenance workers, and when you factor in their loaded rate of their hourly wages plus, their benefits, it comes out to be approximately $50,000 for those 2 workers. So but those 2 workers are not solely dedicated to State Road 50. So they also are able to be pulled and do other public works maintenance tasks. But I will say, for 4 or 5 days a week, depending on which worker, they were out there for 6 miles pretty consistently. Not that they don't get pulled into other things, but they're very much devoted toward keeping 50 as a priority.
So so it's $50,000 per employee, And then would you say 25% of their time is spent on this, or 50% of their time?
I would say 50% of their time, and I apologize, I did inflate that number just a little bit, but it's still in the 40s.
So we would be talking that we're spending just about double on our expenses. We get from them about $2,231, and then we pay about $4,500 a month on it.
And we have explored, what if we just had one worker for the amount that we receive? And we realized it's just right back to the old story, the level of service would be lower, and that's not what we opted to do.
And then for Oasis, if they were to do this, DOT would just pay them the $2,231. Is that why we get that nominal amount?
It literally was broken down of what would have gone for that same segment to the contractor, and that's what was offered to us.
And then there was no talk, and I don't remember when this was exactly done, but there was no talk of basically having Oasis do it, and then we would have someone supplement the area. It wouldn't make sense to do something like that.
No, and in fact, we were very anxious from the original deal, which was we were subbed to Oasis. That was not an optimal deal. So we were very happy 3 years ago to change it to what we have now and actually receive funds directly from the department. We thought that at the time was a victory, but now I think the next step is this really fair considering the amount of effort we're putting into the state road? And again, it's just been a matter of getting to the right people within the department to have an effective conversation.
And then is the department's position, I know you haven't gotten it fully, that we are basically asking for above and beyond of what they view as adequate service?
That's the crux of it. And bear in mind, that's part of our whole case, as I spoke with the mayor, is we're providing a greater level of service than their contractor ever did. So that philosophically begs, why is it this way to begin with, that we feel like we have to step in and augment, subsidize to get an improved level of service when their contractor's not providing it?
Jay Cox?
So basically, we're paying double than the contract we're getting from the state?
Those workers, yes, those workers were already employed and part of the maintenance crew, but we've just taken those funds, applied it to the overall general fund, and then paying for it. And understanding, yeah, we are using city funds to enhance the level of service.
Okay, and they're only spending 50% of the time actually doing the work on State Route 50?
Typically, yes.
Okay, so then we're getting back for that 50%.
Yeah, we still have them able to work on many other things in our public right-of-way and facilities, events, whatever's needed. They're still part of that crew, and as the recent reorganization suggested, we've got a bigger pool of maintenance workers that are now a little bit more consolidated to pull from.
Okay, last question. Are we getting less complaints now that we do it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a completely different ballgame than it was a few years ago.
Okay, thank you.
No questions.
I have a couple questions. So the half is just on the salaries, right? So that's 50,000. How about capital equipment? Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that we mow 6 miles of grass in the medians and everything with 65-inch lawnmowers, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that sounds incredible on what the capital equipment should be. I know Oasis uses Batwing, kind of lawnmowers. So there's the capital equipment to stick on there that they're not paying for. So I would not go into any more questions other than just say, do you really want to go into a negotiation already having the decision made here that publicly that we said okay?
Well, I think it's still, just being candid with the council, dealing with the department many years, I don't know that this is going to be an easy one to move the dial on. So that's why I urge, I'd rather have the agreement than not, otherwise we're going backwards. But as I said before, I'm not going to, at this point, let them know that agreement, I mean, if they happen to look at our agenda and see it, great. But I'd rather go in saying council tabled it, because you did, and that's a true statement, and here's why. And again, I'm having to go up to the next.
And I lied. I have another question.
Okay.
When is exactly this? When does this expire?
February 28th.
February 28th, and we have 2 meetings before then?
Right.
2 more meetings. Okay. All right. Any other questions? No? Any questions from the audience, from our public? Okay, I'll ask for a motion of some kind.
Based on that conversation, I think we should move this vote to a future meeting. So that would be the,
Making a motion to table it
a motion to table to a
until
future
the
meeting.
next meeting?
The next meeting or 2 meetings from now?
2 weeks from now, yeah.
2 meetings from now.
2 meetings from now.
Yes.
Well, if we do that.
Is that enough time?
Hold on. I don't want to question the motion other than to say that if there was something that we didn't like about that negotiate, we would not have any more meeting before it ran out.
Okay. So, yeah, then a motion to table it to the next meeting.
Okay. Do we have a second? Table it? No? No?
I'll second.
We have a second? Any public comment? Okay. We'll go ahead and take the roll.
Councilmember Jay Cox, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Solkowski?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gaines?
Aye.
Mayor Kehoe.
Aye. So passed. Next, consideration of approval, Resolution 2026, authorizing creation of an Ethics Advisory Committee. Want to read it?
It's not necessary.
Okay. All right, who's speaking on behalf of this?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, pursuant to the direction from the workshop last week, you've asked us to amend the agenda to include this item. As you'll see in Section 2 of the proposed resolution, it creates an ethics committee whereby each member of the council appoints one member to said committee.
Very good, thank you so much. Any discussion from the council on this?
Did we set a term for this council?
We did at the last meeting. The term was 4 years.
I mean, how long will the committee be in existence?
Yes.
So we have it in there that they would provide their recommendations to you by June 30th of '26 unless you extend it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. No further discussion? Any discussion from the audience? None? Seeing none, let's go ahead and get a motion. Go ahead and get a motion.
Yeah, I'll defer to Anita, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, but if the council desires to move forward, I would suggest that they pass the resolution and then each appoint publicly declare their appointee as prescribed in the resolution.
So I would move to approve Resolution 2026-3.
I second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none?
Councilmember Solkowski?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gaines?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Jay Cox?
Aye.
Mayor Kehoe.
Aye. Okay, now we can go ahead and tie the name to that. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Hine? So announce your appointee, Mr. Jay Cox.
Trilogy.
Dan Anderson from Trilogy.
Justin Allender from District 2.
Justin Albert.
Oh, I don't have one yet. I'm still talking to mine. I have a maybe, but I don't want to say the maybe's name and then them change their mind. That's rude. So I will get back to you. Before the next meeting, I will have a definitive answer. I'll send an email and then do
Okay.
that. Sorry. Half my people don't live in the city,
Is
apparently.
that acceptable?
Is that okay? Or
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the resolution specifically calls for the council member to state their appointee at a public meeting. So I think it's fine at the next meeting that Councilwoman Carroll
Okay,
make that
very good.
announcement.
I'll
Thank you.
promise to have a name by the next meeting.
Ms. Gaines?
I'm Susan Ducey.
Susan Lucy? Help me, Mr. Hines. So unbiased the person I have.
Mary Ayers. Mary Ayers.
Mary Hires, federal mediation judge. Yes, so we all describe that. Okay, are we good? And that concludes our old business. And we're going on to new business, which there is none. And we'll move on to public comment. Do we have public comment this evening?
Yes, Jen Eastridge.
Oh, gosh.
Jen Eastridge, my address is protected. So over the past couple of months, I've watched a couple of things that has been really concerning, and I apologize, I haven't been coming to meetings. I'm busy with football lately. But I've watched the council request get consensus on things, and then they not even make the agenda. There are employees. Are the employees actually listening? Are they doing what you guys are asking of? I've heard from numerous people that they're watching the council meetings and you guys are asking of things, but nothing seems to be getting done. So I'll give you an example. One of the things that was brought up was infrastructure. You guys want infrastructure. You guys want storm drains, roads, sidewalks. Again, storm drains, that's what the city of Groveland needs, right? But then we spend money on buying a property. I don't remember seeing that property in the budget. I don't remember seeing that project in the budget. And then I'd really like to know, how much did we spend for Andrew Landis to go and research, talk to the seller, make his presentation? How much of taxpayer money do we actually spend on that? Another example of, are the employees actually listening, is the Palisades. That was a mess. Citizens came forward and expressed concerns, and then once again, the employees shut them down, told them that they were wrong. Council, you have to do this. You must do this. They have good arguments, but there's no merit. But my favorite one ever was, you can't rely on the crayon marks. Okay. Then when citizens demand accountability, we have an attorney that says, I didn't do anything wrong. We have a manager that won't say where things went wrong. Maybe we need to remind our employees on how things work. The citizens go to the council then goes to my kind and Anita, because we did just bump her up. So Anita's job is, for example, if mayor says, I want the sky purple. It's Anita's job to go through the statute and figure out how to make the sky purple. That's her job. An attorney's job, if you're upset, you go to an attorney and you say, this is what I want. It is the job of the attorney to make that happen, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If they can't do it, that's breach of contract, right? So how is it that a council shoots down the racetrack project and then you guys shot it down over safety, and then the next day it's pushed through anyways? How is that even remotely possible? It's just a pony show. That's all it has turned into. So another thing that just recently happened, and I don't know if everybody caught, but the city missed an audit. And then when the council was asking what the heck happened, we have a city manager who refused to answer because it was at a public meeting. So I would like that addressed tonight if we can. But the most recent thing that really had me giggling was at the workshop, you guys were very vague on a certain topic. I could appreciate that, right? But then we had a council member talking about very classified information. At some point, it would have been appropriate for the attorney or the city manager to say, hey, that's classified. You're not allowed to talk about that right now. Instead, it just kept going. And we have employees going around to citizens making accusations about that confidential thing. It's getting leaked out. There was a reason it was confidential. Okay. So what I find is funny is that presentation that was just happening about surveys, are they even going to matter if the employees aren't listening? Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have that in a list that we can make sure we get all those topics that we can get to Jenny?
That wouldn't be my decision, as my city manager.
No more?
Alan Joyce.
Alan Joyce, my address is protected. Per the direction of the City Council, we met with the city manager and the city attorney on January 7th to review the Palisades items that we had discussed at the recent council meetings regarding, one, voiding a Palisades minor lot split done by the city manager on November the 18th of 2025, and two, having the city rule that the abandoned Palisades structure was terminated per code. During our meeting with the city manager and the city attorney, we agreed to explore other solutions regarding resolving this matter, and we made it clear that we did not want the clock to run out on our right to file with the circuit court regarding an appeal on the minor lot split and terminating the structure. To stay within our shrinking time allowance, we asked for a quick update from the city manager, which he gave us 3 days ago. So we're happy about that. And he said that more time is needed to resolve this issue. We, in good faith, are open to allowing more time for the city to negotiate. We just need the city to give us the written confirmation that the challenge period will remain tolled, or our appeal countdown clock will pause during this time of negotiations or curing. Someone might tell you that our time to appeal the minor lot split ended 30 days after it was completed on November the 18th. We believe that we can easily show that the minor lot split was never properly notified to the neighboring property owners or public due to the fact that a land development approval of a minor lot split involving conservation land was never disclosed to the neighboring property owners, the public, or even the city council until December 15th. If someone tells you that you want to take action on conservation land, a reasonable person would say, I want to hear more about that. The city did not notify anyone about the minor lot split involving conservation land until almost 30 days after the minor lot split was done. It was kept quiet until we notified the council, and even then, the truth about being conservation was denied by the city administration, and they buried the truth in a 1,000-page council meeting agenda update that thankfully I saw on December the 11th. Once the council was notified on December 15th that the land was conservation, the council gets an opportunity to cure the issue. On January 5th, the council asked the manager and city attorney to meet with us to figure this out. Thank you. We were grateful for that, and we need to ensure that during the cure time, the appeal clock has paused for now. Someone might tell you the city does not have to issue a determination of the Palisades structure being terminated per city code. The city administration never publicly admitted that the use and structure of the Palisades shed has been terminated. Per Groveland's Community Development Code, page 12, section 1.4, under non-conforming use and structures, the city administration does not want to talk about structures. They only want to speak to use, which is only 50% of the use and structures code of 1.4. Again, we in good faith are open to allowing more time for the city to help the parties reach an agreement. We just need the city to give us written confirmation that the challenge period will remain tolled, or our deadline to appeal is paused during this time of negotiations or curing, to avoid us having to file costly circuit court appeals on the minor lot split and the termination issues. We are asking the City Council tonight to give consensus to the administration to issue the following written statement. The Duceys and Alan Joyce have raised concerns about the Palisades minor lot split and the termination of an abandoned structure. Their appeal challenge deadlines will be tolled, paused during this cure process, and will not run until the cure process ends and the city issues its written determination. And no final agency action or final development order has been taken or will be treated as having been taken until the city notifies in writing the Duceys and Alan Joyce. This will avoid costly legal actions while negotiations are still taking place. This will preserve your right to make a final decision when negotiations are done at your determination, and it will preserve our right to appeal. I will leave this statement with the city clerk at this time so you can see the exact verbiage. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hines, should we figure out how to get this on an agenda so that we can discuss it, and or is there a path? I don't know whether it was legal, was not legal now, and we don't discuss on public comment, so I think
But, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, there's nothing that prevents you from asking to have this item placed for discussion and direction at a subsequent meeting. There are some probably legal consequences or considerations that the city attorney would have to address as to whether or not to be able to grant a tolling extension.
Could we get a written brief on that prior to the next meeting and put it on as an update so that we can just settle this? We can't give a letter out right now and all that stuff because I know that we can't do it. So I'd like to bring it back when we can really take action and discuss it.
No one in the room would like to bring resolve more than me, probably, but so would you like us to add it for discussion and direction at the next meeting?
Next meeting, please. Is that consensus? Can we have that?
Yep.
Thank you.
All the public comment?
That concludes our public comment. So we'll go on to reports from our council. Mr. Jaycox.
I had the pleasure of being at the attendance of the Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast that was held in this room, and it was very emotional to be with the residents of Groveland in celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King. It really was. It was a very good thing, and I appreciate the Stuckey Foundation for supplying all the food. It was very good.
It was, and it's surprising we're too small. We're getting too small for that breakfast now. We've got to figure that out.
Yes, we do. As a statement that was brought up, on January 14th, the council was emailed the final audit 2 days after the meeting. Just so everybody knows, we got the final audit on the 14th of January. Read it. Why was it missed? I don't know the answer to that directly. Yeah. At the last huddle, one of the items we discussed was have an action list. And an action list would be when we ask the management or the city manager or the attorney to get us answers, we would put those questions on an action list, and we would keep going back to see if they fulfilled that action list. You already took care of the Palisades issue, so that was my last issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
I just echo your remarks on the event that we attended for Martin Luther King and the involvement of the pastors and the staff and Stuckey Community Improvement Group. I believe this Saturday is a Groveland cleanup, I believe. So hopefully we have some great turnout for that. And
9
then
a.m.?
9 a.m. And then next Thursday in the evening, I'm going to be joining the Vice Mayor's huddle. So I'm very excited. And that's my whole report.
Thank you. Amy Jo?
So a couple of meetings ago, I had asked about the Palisades issue, about like how that happened and how we're going to prevent that from happening in the future. Do you know when we'll hear back about that? Or just roll that in with everything else? Because we did get a consensus on that.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I believe Mr. Maslow did send an email, but I'll follow up. There was no definitive conclusion, if you recall, so I'll follow up with Mr. Maslow.
Thank you. Also, I wanted to see if we can get consensus for them to look into the property that's by 7-Eleven that Alan Joyce also brought up that is labeled as conservation in much the same way. If everybody's okay, look into that one as well.
Presentation, and that's the Jones Brothers property right next to that sign on.
That's what he said.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of Councilwoman Carroll, if I could just ask for clarification about the content. I mean, there's been several emails back and forth about signage on the property, but also about the classification and how it appears on the map online versus the underlying zoning. So
I think we just want to determine if it's actually conservation or not. Yeah, consensus is good. If
Maybe
everybody
we could
agrees.
just, if we have consensus, just add that to this after we talk about the choices discussion at the next meeting.
That's fine.
Or just to update, because I know that you have people coming in to redo right? You're redoing the maps and pulling them together, and maybe that's a time to give us an update on where that is and how
yeah,
it stands.
and Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I would encourage you to ask the question about bridging congruency on the maps tomorrow at the workshop on the ear amendment, because that's what it's in part about. And Mr. Maslow will be there.
Okay, just to remind everybody, the ear is tomorrow at 10 a.m., open to the public for that question.
And then I also wanted to see if we can get a consensus to, I don't know what the rules are, so I wanted to see if we can open bidding for a city attorney. I'm okay with Anita bidding that process. I just keep hearing that we're paying too much, so I want to hear put it out there and see if we are or we're not, or where that lies. Consensus to bid out city attorney. Again, Anita's welcome to send in her own bid, but just to see what else is out there.
When is her contract?
I think it's
through?
an open-ended from what I understood. That could be wrong.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm not necessarily prepared and haven't reviewed it. Can I suggest you add it to the next workshop?
Good. Good?
Yep, done.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
All righty then. I attended the Community Land Trust meeting and also attended the Cherry Lake, real name, so I'll call it the Cherry Lake Conservation Event. Attended the second Friday, and on Saturday the 10th, the Robotics Club had an initial meeting. I attended that. I also attended the police officers swearing in that they had down at Lake David Center. And the principal's luncheon at the Elise Tomlin Center, and attended the chamber breakfast, as well as the Martin Luther King breakfast, and that's about it.
Thank you. I just have a few things and a few questions. Not all of them can be acted on. First is to ask the council, if you'll just indulge me a second, and Mr. Hine, are there any incentives or currently established for festivals coming to Groveland that have a track record of over 1,000 people? I'm using the pastor as an example, as 2,000 people. When they supply their own help, when they supply all their stuff, they supply their own marketing and all that. And if they can, I wish that you could talk with the staff and see, is there a break point where we say, then we won't charge them for this and this and this to try to get them in here? Because to get a couple thousand people here, and I'll be very honest with you, I'm trying to poach as many of those from Claremont as I can because they're already established. Is there a chance that the team could sit down and say, at this point, maybe we forgive some of these in order to get that many people into the town from other places?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we'll be glad to talk about it from a staff, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a policy decision based on your beliefs in the economic multipliers for those types of events. And the bigger ones, you look at Leesburg and the Bike Fest, the nearest to Groveland probably was the laser light show recently at the airport.
Agree with you, but I think where we'd want input from the staff is things like they have to take the financial risk, they have to define it, so there's no risk to the city. And what would that be? Because we take on small ones that we do a little bit different, but that list would be really important. Where are we on the Okada reimbursement? My notes said that we were still up in the air on the Kroger Okada reimbursement. Did that come back through, or they were going to tell you something, or?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Kroger is committed to remit repayment by the end of the month. There's still some issues over the invoices back and forth. Okada, as you'll recall, the county never called them in breach, and there's still some discussion about them maintaining operations in the facility.
So it's an ongoing negotiation? Okay. A reminder that wasn't mentioned, this next Saturday is the VFW 80th anniversary for here, and I'll be glad to supply anybody with any of the details on that. We had a principal summit that we have once a quarter where we have all the principals from all the schools, whether it's private, public, charter, everybody together. It was astonishing. The first one we had last quarter was the first time they all met each other. It was kind of a cool thing. But the things that came out of that, and I appreciate you being there, Mr. Hine, was transportation after school programs so that underserved could get home, could be there for tutoring after. I don't know how we want to approach some of these, and maybe you can give me direction. That needs to go to the school board, or that needs to go to the Department of Transportation. The image of violence is hurting them very badly, which is sad because they also stated that the middle school's gone up 40 points in their, A to B to C thing. So it's quite an example. And the high school has a 92% graduation rate. It was one of the highest in the state right now. And I thought that was something that we should get out. Cherry Lake Tree Farms race is coming up on this Saturday at 8 o'clock. The race in Cherry Lake, in your district, 8 o'clock.
Working.
Rolling Ridge huddle. We have a small huddle. We're trying out smaller huddles at Rolling Ridge, which is the RV park up on 27 at 10 a.m. on the 31st, if anybody wants to go to that clubhouse. Cherry Lake sponsored, and we really have to do something with Cherry Lake. They're really leading the whole story on conservation and everything. They brought all of our representatives and the Secretary of Agriculture here on the 8th and gave us a chance to talk to them about the funding and raising funds and everything, because we have a lot of things in the fire, and we're just trying to understand where all that's going. But we need to commend Cherry Lake, Tim and Chloe and all of them for financially supporting that and bringing them down here and have a pre-meeting and then a meeting with all of us. It was just great. It almost come up, but I want to take a little further. Is there a possibility that when we discuss something like we just did on, what did we just discuss that we needed to follow up on? Attorney, that it rolls to old business? Can we roll it so that we have an ongoing thing with honor, and maybe we keep it tabled, or but we review it each meeting under the old business title, and it's where we are, and that way we don't all have to keep the separate notes and put it on. And we can also call you back on a Thursday meeting. This is coming up, and that kind of thing. The auditors, I will say this, are coming to the next meeting, right? So we'll understand what happened.
No, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the auditors are scheduled for the second meeting in February. So not the very next.
Second meeting, okay. Second meeting in February. Okay, and the redistricting is, we need to publicly let them know that it's going to be for next year, not for this coming vote, because of the time that, and the rules and the regulations of the state that we were behind on. And then last, this is very important, the charter verbiage for the recount of any council decisions. Remember, we passed the the charter and said that somebody could get up and say, this is, we want to reject this. And we had a talk about following the same pattern as we had on other things, but did we ever vote on that?
No, we can bring back an ordinance to the council for consideration if you want it to mirror what it is for the ordinance considerations.
That's a big priority, because I think a lot of us said with 90 days we would have that written, and we're pushed that 90 days now. So we need to get that
So you're looking for a
done and in,
consensus
so we don't
you're
get
looking for a consensus to instruct Mr. Hine to have it for the next meeting?
Please.
Can we get a consensus? Yeah. Okay.
Please? Yes, 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 everybody's yes. And I appreciate your patience, and that tomorrow's comp plan meeting at 10 o'clock, the EAR meeting, is one of four?
At least.
Four that are the most important meetings that you'll ever go to, because they impact your kids and your grandkids. This is the roadmap that we give the state that says this is how big we're going to be, this is how many schools we got to have if we're this is what the roads need to look like. This is all the concurrency that goes with the dream, right? So if you don't have this, we can't build it. You know, it's a very, very, very important meeting. Tell all your family and friends. There's going to be 4 of them. Tomorrow will be one that's joint. It's kind of the first time we've ever done a joint one with a P&Z. But please, this it's the place to really determine what we're going to be when we grow up. We've got to be there. Okay. With that, City Manager.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, again, just to reiterate, this Saturday is the neighborhood cleanup. I'm showing the 31st is the Cherry Lake race, Tree Farm race.
You know what? It's written right here. It says the 31st at 8 a.m. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right.
Mr. Mayor, what was the huddle? What was the date of the huddle at the RV park?
What's that?
What was the date of the huddle at the RV park?
The huddle for here is for
Thursday.
Thursday. Greenleaf will be
Yeah.
the 29th. The huddle for Rolling Ridge, which is the RV park, is the 31st at 10 a.m.
31st
of this month, January. And we'll be going from, all of us will be going from this race after we present the ribbons to the huddle together. How's that? Anything else, Mr. Hine? Madam Attorney?
Just one item I wanted to bring to your attention. There's proposed amendment to SB 180, which is going to be beneficial to the city if it gets adopted. It will amend the definition of the impacted local government. It was 100 miles from a storm, and now it's 50 miles. And that it's also included in the disaster declaration that the governor issues. But the most important thing is it struck the burdensome and more restrictive language. So those were what prohibited us from adopting other regulations. And it's also going to be set to expire June 30th of 2026, which, if it gets approved, will assist you as you want to change your comp plan and your land development codes that may be more restrictive than they are now. So we'll keep following that. There's not a House bill currently with that, so they're trying to get someone to sponsor a House bill.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking out at people that went with us to Tallahassee to discuss that. So don't think that people's voices don't matter. I mean, that matters big time. Thank you. Okay, with that, that's the conclusion of the evening. Thank you so much.